Right now at 5, the FBI investigates how cyber criminals stole nearly $700,000 from U.S. Senator Jerry Moran's campaign.
MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line is clear for the time being, but that is going to change as the day goes on. We'll break down this winter storm coming up.
And Joplin schools test out a new pilot program that helps out incoming kindergarten students born in later months, such as June or July, or those without access to a preschool.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we do have our alert day for today and tomorrow. The winter storm is on its way. So we've got the incoming storm that's expected later this afternoon. And again, the heaviest snow still looking to be right along and south of I-44. So we're looking at a pretty high impact from this snow because I'd made the comment off air, just, anything over 3 inches has a tendency to be pretty intense for this area. But in all honesty, that's not too terribly far off the pace there because we don't deal with heavy amounts of snow on a consistent basis. So make sure that you are ready. You have through at least this morning and into the early afternoon to make your final plans. Get ready to hunker down with this snow as it starts to move into the area. Look off to the south and west. Here it comes out of the panhandle of Texas, the desert southwest. That snow and rain moving on up, and it'll be here later today. We now have winter storm warnings. These went into effect overnight long and south of I-44, and winter weather advisories for the rest of the area. Each of these running through tomorrow morning. The winter storm warnings through 9 a.m. and the advisories through 6 a.m. Take a look at how expansive this system is. Winter storm warnings from western Ohio back through New Mexico with this storm system. In terms of timing, right around the noon hour, we're going to start to see some light rain, maybe a wintry mix build in. And as the afternoon and evening progresses and our temperatures drop, this will transition into an all-snow event. And we could see even some heavy snow at times as we go through the overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning, before this system does eventually start to exit from the area. So you can see where our chances really start to ramp up as we go through the late morning and into the afternoon hours. Here's what we're looking at in terms of snow totals. Parts of southeast Kansas, less than 4 inches. You can see that light blue line is the 4 inches or slightly more. If you're in that blue line, that's a 6 inches or possibly more zone. And those pink and purples are 8 to 10 inches of potential snow out of this system, hence the new winter storm warning. So again, if you have to travel, which we do not advise doing so tonight into tomorrow, make sure you are prepared with extra items in your vehicle in case you do get stranded, especially down south where the heavier snow is expected to be. We're at 31 right now with clear skies. We'll get cloudy again through the day. We're not doing too bad with temperatures, 27 Iola, 26 Parsons, 30 Miami, and 29 in Neosho. So again, for your drive, your morning drive, we've got a green light and the cloudy skies as we head into this evening. That's where we go to that red light. You want to start heading home and stay there for the next day or so. We'll have more on their complete forecast for today and take a look at the week ahead a little later.
All right. Sounds like we got a lot coming our way. We've got to be prepared.
We certainly do. The snow totals have been upped a little bit overnight as well, hence the new winter storm warning. So we're keeping an eye on all that for you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, 3 deputies were hurt and a suspect killed in a shootout near Dodge City, Kansas. Authorities say it started when deputies tried to stop a vehicle driven by a wanted suspect, 39-year-old Leroy Malone of Phoenix, Arizona, Monday morning. He drove off and they chased him. Deputies from another county and highway patrol troopers joined the chase. Gunfire was exchanged when the suspect stopped his vehicle. He was shot and killed. A woman in his vehicle was also shot and is in critical condition. Of the 3 deputies hit by gunfire, 2 were in serious condition and a third in good condition. Malone had been linked to a double homicide in Phoenix. Authorities in Wilson County, Kansas have arrested a former Neodesha music teacher for child sex crimes. Authorities say last April, 28-year-old Quentin Bachhold tried to entice a child to perform sexual acts and was found in possession of child pornography. He is charged with 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a child and 1 count of electronic solicitation of a child. Bachhold was the band director for the Neodesha School District at the time, though he is no longer employed by the district. Authorities bring charges against a Pittsburgh man for a weekend home invasion. Gilbert Larson was arrested for aggravated robbery, battery, misdemeanor theft, and felony criminal damage for a robbery which took place Sunday night. According to the 62-year-old victim, Larson forced his way inside her residence, struck her several times in the head, took her wallet and broke her phone before fleeing from the residence. Larson was found and arrested without incident. His bond is set for $75,000. For the complete list of charges against Larson, you can go to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A Lamar man pleads guilty to charges of animal abuse. Dakota Browse was sentenced to 3 counts of animal abuse for a crime authorities say he committed back in 2019 concerning dead livestock or livestock in poor condition found in northeast Barton County east of Milford. Each count carries a 1-year sentence. However, his sentence was suspended. Browse has been placed on 2 years probation. The FBI is investigating how cyber criminals stole nearly $700,000 from a Kansas U.S. senator's campaign. Someone sent Kansas Republican Jerry Moran's campaign fraudulent invoices last fall, and the campaign's accounting firm wired $690,000 to pay them. That's according to a Federal Election Commission filing. A Moran campaign spokesperson says the incident was reported to law enforcement as soon as it was discovered. About $168,000 have been recovered. Joplin schools are testing out a new pilot program for incoming kindergarten-age students. It's called SOAR and will begin this fall. SOAR is designed for kids with later birthdays, typically June or July, and those who may not have had access to preschool. Officials say these kids may not have the same development as their peers, so SOAR will give them a kindergarten-like setting to reach those goals.
Students who may have late birthdays or they may not have an early learning experience, some of them can start out behind simply from an exposure standpoint, but have great potential. So for example, about 1 in 2 of our kindergarten students have no early learning experience.
School officials say students participating in high-quality learning childhood education are more likely to graduate high school and, on average, score higher on tests. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Lady Lions look to keep up their winning streak against Lincoln. We'll see if they manage to do it in sports. Plus, antiques that were once displayed in the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art are returned to Italy upon learning they had been stolen. And the FDA wants to help simplify how Americans stay up to date with the COVID booster vaccines. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be
With 8 games left in the season, Mount Vernon's girls basketball team canceled the rest of their season due to a lack of players. 2 years ago, the team finished as runners-up for a state title. Now, they don't even have enough players to fill the roster. Officials cited multiple issues, but they say the main factor was injuries. Reporter Michael Hoffman spoke to former and current athletes, including Missouri Southern's Lacey Stokes, on the decision.
It's definitely upsetting.
Lacey Stokes is a former Mount Vernon athlete. She's one of the best from the state runner-up team in 2021. She says it's heartbreaking.
I definitely feel bad, for the girls and the coaches as a whole, and even all of the other kids who are in high school, going to games and playing in games. It's something you look forward to with your high school experience.
In a Facebook post, Mount Vernon posted this, saying in part, attempting to continue to play competitive varsity basketball with a reduced number of available players places our team in a very difficult situation. Therefore, it is with a heavy heart that we make this decision for the well-being of our student athletes. The team started the year with 10 players. It finished with just 5 remaining. The school's activity director says it's mainly due to injuries.
It just happens to be we have a small number of young ladies who are involved in our basketball programs or in our basketball program, and we have had a couple of injuries that have caused us to have to make a decision like this.
Mount Vernon student athlete Peyton West added that it can hurt to put in a season's worth of work just to get the rug pulled out from under you.
I know how hard it is whenever you put all of this work into playing a sport just to kind of feel like it's almost not, like you can't do it anymore.
Lacey says to the students on the fence about playing next year, if you put the work in, it will be worth it.
I would say just step up and, there's girls who probably don't want to play, but you just got to try and pull and be like, hey, this is something we can do together. We can make it fun. You just have to, not everyone's going to be, their basketball's not going to be something they just love to do, but you can make it fun if you can get girls to buy in to just an experience together and working hard for one another and working hard for your coach.
The activities director said the team will also cancel its junior varsity season, but Johnson remains confident that they will have an uninterrupted season in the 2023-2024 year. The Missouri Southern Lions are at home hosting a conference doubleheader against Lincoln. On the women's side, the Lions have gotten a roll in the last 2 weeks, winning 4 straight games to get to 16-4 overall this season. Southern 8-4 in the MIAA, trying to stay hot and hand the Blue Tigers their 3rd straight loss. Really hot start for Southern as Lacey Stokes' defender flies by. Stokes hits the short jumper. She leads MSSU with 15. Then Caitlin Honeycutt open for the 3 on the far side. She knocks it down. Finally, Haley Grant's great spin move in the lane. And the foul. Lions up 10 after 1. Grant, nice night, 11 points and 7 boards. Second quarter, more from Southern. Maddie Stokes, easy 2. Stokes gets 14 points and 9 rebounds. It's Lions by 19 at the break. They really finished this thing in the 3rd. Cameron Call drills the deep ball. All Southern. They lead from start to finish and win 84-45.
The message was really just don't take our foot off the gas. We've been in a little bit of a slump lately as a team, and for us to come out and just kill it in the first half and then come back out and do the same thing in the second half was really big for us, and I think it's going to give us a lot of momentum to finish out this week and go into next.
We have a couple big games coming up that we needed to get the ball rolling to go into the next games with lots of confidence, knowing that our defense is good and that we're going to shut people down. So getting that win tonight and really coming out and playing good defense, it just really helps us get going for the rest of our season.
That, the Southern men hit the floor against Lincoln, aiming for their 9th win in the last 11 games. First half, Christian Bundy working inside. Nice finish with the left. He leads Southern with 17, but Lincoln up 7 at the under 10 timeout. Lions trying to hang around. Vincent Sigmund Jr. Pull-up 3 is good. He scores 16 for Moso. Lincoln played well in the first half. 3 goes here. We're up double digits. Southern climbs back in it. Though, right before the half, Avery Taggart beats the buzzer, scores 11, but the Lions come up just short. Lincoln wins 84-79. Kansas City Chiefs back in the AFC Championship game for the 5th consecutive season. Chiefs host the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday, with the winner advancing to Super Bowl 57. Sunday's game is a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game, and it's no doubt a matchup of 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league in Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. Burrow is already 5-1 in the playoffs in his career, and last week threw for 2 touchdowns and was only sacked once in a blowout win over Buffalo.
Yeah, he's a strong kid. You know, he is elusive, and you've got to make sure that you wrap him up. I mean, Chris probably said it the best. He was the one out there, working it. And he's a heck of a football player.
Still to come, we're going to meet a 4-year-old British boy who's the youngest member of the UK's Mensa branch. This is just how smart he is. Plus, we've got that incoming winter storm. We're going to break down everything you need to know when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. A lot to get to, and very little time. We've got an alert day for today and tomorrow. We've got this winter storm coming in with the heaviest snow right along and south of I-44. So in terms of the impacts from this system, snow definitely the highest impact. The good news is ice and wind impacts right now are pretty low. We're going to get a bit chilly, but not really freezing cold, so that's good news. You have through this morning and into the early afternoon to make sure your final plans are in place for some of this heavy snow that we are expected to get, especially along and south of I-44. So let's take a look. Here's where it is right now. Here's the low pressure system out over the desert southwest, pushing this up our direction. You can see there's rain, there's a wintry mix, and then of course there's the snow. We have winter storm warnings. These went up overnight. This is the pink area right here, basically along I-44. And these run until about 9 a.m. tomorrow. Everybody else, winter weather advisories through at least 6 a.m. tomorrow. And take a look at how expansive this system is. These warnings go from western Ohio back through New Mexico. That's just how big this system's going to be. So we head to about noon. We're looking at this system creeping into the area. Now by noon, we're still going to be a bit mild. So we're looking at maybe light rain transitioning to a wintry mix in the afternoon. And as the evening progresses and temperatures fall, this will turn to a completely snow event. And it will snow, sometimes heavy snow, throughout the overnight and into early tomorrow morning before it eventually begins to taper off by late tomorrow morning. Here's a look at snow totals. We're looking at less than 4 inches off in the northwestern part of our area. This is a 4 to 6 inch zone right here. This blue here, which does include the Joplin metro area, is 6 to 8 inches possible. And then the purple here is 8 to 10. And then if you're in the pink, we're looking at 10 to 12 inches of snow possible with this system. Those snow totals have gone up just a pinch overnight as well. So if you're traveling, which we do not advise tonight into tomorrow, make sure your car is packed and prepared just in case you get stuck. Again, especially down south where there's a lot of hilly terrain, a lot of places, a lot of opportunities to potentially get stuck in some pretty deep snow. We're at 31 in Joplin right now under mostly clear skies. Clouds will increase again today. 27 Iola, 26 Parsons, 28 Miami, 30 Neosho, and 31 in Carthage. MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line. Looking pretty good for now, and it will continue to do so through the morning. So we have a green light for your morning commute as we are going to be cloudy and cold. And then we have a red light for your drive home as this system really gets going as we head into the evening hours. So if you can leave work early today or work remotely, definitely take that option. We got cloudy skies to start because we have no cancellations as of this point. So 7 a.m. 29, and then by 3 we'll have that wintry mix going on across the area as well, 37 by 3 o'clock. Again, heading for a high of 41, then temperatures will fall through the day as we see the wintry mix and snow move in. All snow tonight down to 32 degrees. And a quick look at your 7-day. Your alert day, of course, continues into tomorrow. A little break from the activity Thursday, Friday. Another system Saturday, up to 53. That turns into a wintry mix heading into Sunday, only 34. Look at that, Sunday night, 15 degrees. Only a few police units in the world investigate stolen antiquities in order to return cultural treasures to their rightful homes. One such unit has just returned dozens of looted artifacts to Italy. They're worth millions of dollars, but to Italy, they're priceless, and now they're on display. Barbie Latzinadeu has the story.
These ancient artifacts, worth some $20 million, represent the latest success for Italy's Carabinieri Cultural Heritage Squad. Many were trafficked and ended up in the collection of American billionaire Michael Steinhardt, who has been banned for life from acquiring antiquities by the New York City District Attorney. Among them, this fresco stolen from Herculaneum near Pompeii, and this bronze bust of a man dating back to around the 1st century CE or late BCE.
Long investigation. That's it.
They are back in Italy thanks to New York City's Antiquities Trafficking Unit, led by Colonel Matthew Bogdanos.
These are not just pieces of marble and limestone and frescoes. These represent our shared cultural heritage. In one respect, they belong to the world. But legally, for my purposes, they belong to the country of origin from which they were pillaged.
The New York unit has carried out 75 raids and recovered 500 artifacts worth $55 million that have been returned to Italy, Bogdanos told us.
E restituirle al patrimonio dello Stato, alla nostra identità culturale.
But their real value is their place in Italy's rich cultural identity, Carabinieri Cultural Heritage Squad Commander Vincenzo Molinesi says.
Pericoloso per la loro integrità.
Many of these pieces that were in museums and private galleries end up in storage facilities once back in Italy.
The artifacts must go back to their home country. That's fundamental. Even if they're not the most important pieces compared to, let's say, the rich collections that exist in Italy, the point is they were robbed from this country. They deserve to go back to their home country.
There may be cause for celebration now, but these pieces represent only a drop in the bucket. Authorities say that more pieces are being stolen every moment. Barbie Latzinadeu, CNN, Rome.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Should stolen artifacts be returned to their original country or countries? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Make sure you vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. Health Watch is coming right up.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the FDA says it wants to simplify how Americans stay up to date on COVID-19 booster vaccinations. The agency says in documents posted Monday, it wants the process to be more like getting a flu shot. And that would mean assessing what COVID strands are circulating in June and then preparing a dose for the fall. The FDA says the plan is to create a single annual shot to bolster immunity for most people, but those with certain risk factors might need two. The FDA's Vaccines Advisory Committee is set to meet Thursday to discuss the plan. The exoskeleton, a high-tech mobility device, has been granted approval for use in the United States for stroke rehabilitation. It's a battery-powered device that basically gives the ability of walking back to people who can no longer walk. The self-balancing exoskeleton enables users to move in multiple directions hands-free. The manufacturer, Wondercraft, says it has already been sold to hospitals in France, Luxembourg, and the United States. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
We've got clear roads for now, but that's going to change as day progresses. We'll have a full look at the winter storm coming up.
Right now at 5:30, the FBI investigates how cyber criminals stole nearly $700,000 from U.S. Senator Jerry Moran's campaign.
MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. The roads are visible for now, but that'll change as the day progresses with an incoming winter storm. The latest coming up.
And Joplin schools test out a new pilot program that helps out incoming kindergarten students born in later months, such as June or July, or those without access to a preschool.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. A lot to talk about this morning with the incoming winter storms. We're going to dive directly into it. Now, right now on the local level, the Skywatch storm tracker is clear, but you look off to the southwest, here comes that storm system rolling our direction, and it'll start to impact our area by about noon. We have new winter storm warnings that went up overnight that are all along and south of I-44, and they run through 9 a.m. Everybody else under a winter weather advisory through 6 a.m. tomorrow. And this is a very expansive system from Ohio back through New Mexico. So let's take a look at timing. Again, by noon, we're actually going to be about seasonable for our high before temperatures begin to fall. So we will see some light rain out of this initially, and then as we head into the early afternoon and evening hours, we'll start to see temperatures fall. This transitions to an all-snow event. Some of this snow could be heavy at times, especially again along and south of I-44, and it'll begin to taper off early tomorrow morning. So here's what the current thinking is on snow totals. Parts of southeast Kansas, less than 4 inches. That light blue line, so that includes Nevada, Lamar, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Parsons. We're talking 4 to 6 inches. Joplin, Greenfield, Carthage, Mount Vernon, Miami, we're looking at 6 to 8 inches. And then that purple area there, you can see it's 8 to 10 inches, and that pink area is where we could see 10 to 12 inches of snow. So again, we've been talking about it. Don't travel tonight or tomorrow unless it's an absolute emergency. And if so, make sure your vehicle is ready to go. We're at 31 in Joplin right now, looking pretty good. And across the area, we're not too bad. Again, we're heading for a high of about 41 today. Let's take a quick look at the 7 days. So we're up to 41 today before the snow moves in. 35 tomorrow. The snow will taper off by late morning. We get a little break in action Thursday and Friday. We're up to 53 by Saturday, but here's the deal. We have an additional system coming in Saturday. As we drop off to 28, that'll turn into a wintry mix into Sunday morning, only 34. And we get downright cold with another small system potentially coming in Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, bringing us some additional snow chances. So we're going to be tracking today's storm system as we go through the morning and into tonight. We'll keep you updated on the totals. And again, just make sure if you don't have to travel tonight or tomorrow, don't. And because of when it's going to start to snow and when it'll start to accumulate, if you have the option maybe to work remotely, take that option. And so far, no cancellations for schools or anything as of this time, but if any of those pop up, we'll have them at the bottom of the screen for you.
I'm sure we'll get a few. Yeah.
I suspect we'll get some today. I have no doubt we'll have numerous ones tomorrow.
And there you go. Thanks, Chris. Well, authorities bring charges against a Pittsburgh man for a weekend home invasion. Gilbert Larson was arrested for aggravated robbery, battery, misdemeanor theft, and felony criminal damage for a robbery which took place Sunday night. According to the 62-year-old victim, Larson forced his way inside her residence, struck her several times in the head, took her wallet, and broke her phone before fleeing from the residence. Larson was found and arrested without incident. His bond is set for $75,000. For the complete list of charges against Larson, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A Lamar man pleads guilty to charges of animal abuse. Dakota Browse was sentenced to 3 counts of animal abuse for a crime authorities say he committed back in 2019 concerning dead livestock or livestock in poor condition found in northeast Barton County east of Milford. Each count carries a 1-year sentence. However, his sentence was suspended and Browse has been placed on 2 years probation. 3 deputies were hurt and a suspect killed in a shootout near Dodge City, Kansas. Authorities say it started when deputies tried to stop a vehicle driven by a wanted suspect, 39-year-old Leroy Malone of Phoenix, Arizona, Monday morning. He drove off and they chased him. Deputies from another county and Highway Patrol troopers joined the chase. Gunfire was exchanged when the suspect stopped his vehicle. He was shot and killed. A woman in his vehicle was also shot and is in critical condition. Of the 3 deputies hit by gunfire, 2 were in serious condition and a 3rd in good condition. Malone had been linked to a double homicide in Phoenix. Authorities in Wilson County, Kansas arrest a former Neodesha music teacher for child sex crimes. Authorities say last April, 28-year-old Quentin Bachhold tried to entice a child to perform sexual acts and was found in possession of child pornography. He is charged with 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a child and 1 count of electronic solicitation of a child. Bachhold was the band director for the Neodesha School District at the time, though he is no longer employed by the district. The FBI is investigating how cyber criminals stole nearly $700,000 from a Kansas U.S. Senator's campaign. Someone sent Kansas Republican Jerry Moran's campaign fraudulent invoices last fall, and the campaign's accounting firm wired $690,000 to pay them. And that's according to a Federal Election Commission filing. A Moran campaign spokesperson says the incident was reported to law enforcement as soon as it was discovered. About $168,000 has been recovered. Well, Joplin schools are testing a new pilot program for incoming kindergarten-age students. It's called SOAR and will begin this fall. SOAR is designed for kids with later birthdays, typically June or July, and those who may not have had access to preschool. Officials say these kids may not have the same development as their peers, so SOAR will give them a kindergarten-like setting to reach those goals.
Just that extra foundation to have support before they get into kindergarten. Really, our goal is to help them be at the top of their class when they start kindergarten and give them the foundation that really accelerates them forward for their kindergarten year. We know the importance of coming in.
School officials say students participating in high-quality early childhood education are more likely to graduate high school and, on average, score higher on tests. Well, this morning, we're discussing stolen artifacts.
These ancient artifacts, worth some $20 million, represent the latest success for Italy's Carabinieri Cultural Heritage Art Squad. Many were trafficked and ended up in the collection of American billionaire Michael Steinhardt, who has been banned for life from acquiring antiquities by the New York City District Attorney. Among them, a fresco stolen from Herculaneum near Pompeii and a bronze bust of a man dating back to around the 1st century CE or late BCE. They're back in Italy thanks to New York City's Antiquities Trafficking Unit. Say that 3 times fast.
No kidding. Well, there may be cause for celebration now, but these pieces represent only a drop in the bucket. Authorities say that more pieces are being stolen every moment.
That brings us to our question for you. Should stolen artifacts be returned to their original country or countries? So far, it's an even split. 50% of you say yes, 50% of you say no. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in discussion on our Facebook page.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, well, their ice hockey team may not be the best, but it's what one man found on the ice that makes even the coldest heart melt.
Plus, 50 members of the infamous Hells Angels go on trial in Madrid. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, protests erupt in southern Peru on Sunday. Residents in La Joya clashed with national police. Police took position in front of a building in an effort to defend it from demonstrators who were throwing stones. A police officer was captured during the clashes, and he was later released in exchange for demonstrators who had been taken into custody. The violence escalated as protesters demanded the resignation of President Dina Boluarte, Congress be dissolved, and new elections began. The U.S. Coast Guard says it detained a boat carrying nearly 400 Haitian migrants near the Bahamas on Saturday. Excuse me. Bahamian officials are calling it one of the biggest human smuggling incidents in the region. The Coast Guard says the migrants were traveling in a 50-foot boat that was described as grossly overloaded and very much unsafe. The migrants were taken into custody close to the Caisal Island between Florida and Cuba. Authorities say the migrants will be processed in the Bahamas and then sent back home. Thousands of Haitians have been trying to leave their country amid a spike in gang violence and increasing political instability. Well, the trial of almost 50 Hells Angels in Europe started on Monday in Madrid. German national and former leader Frank Hannebeth walked away from court smiling and in good spirits, no sign of the motorbikes the gang is known for. Hannebeth is being tried with 46 alleged international collaborators on charges of membership in a criminal organization, illegal possession of firearms, and money laundering. Spanish prosecutors are demanding a $4.5 million fine for the money laundering charge. Another alleged member of the gang left court waving and making a victory sign. Now, some are charged with running a prostitution ring and others with drug trafficking. We all think our children are the brightest, but one mother in the UK probably has your family beat. Meet Teddy Hobbs, UK's youngest member of Mensa. It's the largest and oldest IQ society in the world. He qualified after completing a Mensa IQ test with a score of 139 out of 160. Teddy, now 4 years old, that's right, 4 years old, taught himself to read when he was only 2 years old during the COVID-19 lockdown. He can count to 100 in several languages, including Mandarin. Again, he's 4, which is largely considered impossible to learn. His mother had to fight with him to watch whimsical children's programming. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got alert days today and tomorrow for this incoming winter storm. The heaviest snow still expected right along and south of I-44. So snow, the biggest impact of this system. And of course, it's going to be cold, but believe it or not, it's going to be slightly above seasonable even going into tonight. You've got through this morning and into the early afternoon to finish your plans and get ready for this storm, especially if you're in the heavier snow areas, because down there, you could get socked in for a couple of days. Right now, we're cleared locally, but you can see this system starting to knock on our back door. And even though we don't want to answer the door, we don't have much of a choice as it continues to lift off to the north and east. We have winter storm warnings. These winter storm warnings, some of them just went into effect overnight, and they run until 9 a.m. tomorrow. And again, they're along and south of I-44. Everybody else, a winter weather advisory through 6 o'clock. This is a massive system. Warnings and advisories from Ohio back through New Mexico as this thing moves on through. So by about noon, we're going to be pretty mild. We may even see some rain initially, but then temperatures will begin to drop quickly in the late afternoon and early evening hours, and this will transition to all snow. And as we go overnight tonight, we could see even some heavy snow out of this, which is why we have those winter storm warnings, because we could see some pretty heavy snow right along and south of I-44. And they'll clear out by early tomorrow morning. All right, parts of southeast Kansas, less than 4 inches. This light blue strip, we're talking Pittsburgh, Columbus, Lamar, Nevada, Stockton, 4 to 6 inches. Joplin, Miami, Neosho, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, 6 to 8 inches. This purple strip, Monette, Pineville, Anderson, Jay, Grove, we're looking 8 to 10 inches. And then southeast of that, that pink strip could be anywhere from 8 to 10 inches of snow. 31 in Joplin right now. We're doing all right. Across the region, cold but seasonable. 27 Iola, 28 Chatopa, Miami, 30 Neosho, and 31 in Carthage. MoDOT camera, 32nd in Rangeline. We can see the road for now. We'll probably still see it by noon, but tomorrow morning will be a different story. Green light for your morning drives. Will be mostly cloudy and cold. but we do have a red light for your drive home as this system really gets its act together and starts going as we head into the evening hours. So a remote work day, if that's possible, I'd say take it. If you can leave early, I'd say take that chance too. So far, still no cancellations for schools. So getting on the bus at 7 a.m. We're 29 and mostly cloudy. We'll have a calm wind this afternoon, 37 by 3, as this system starts to make that transition from rain to snow. And that may be why some schools haven't canceled. The snow really won't be a significant impact until later this evening. 41 for the high, rain to a wintry mix to snow. Then as we head into tonight, we drop down to and hover right about 32 degrees with that snow eventually tapering off by tomorrow morning. Once we get into Thursday and Friday, we get a little warmer, and then up to 53 Saturday, then evening showers turn into a wintry mix, and that'll last into Sunday morning, 34, 15 Sunday night, and only up to 35 by next Monday. You got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. 3 deputies were hurt and a suspect killed in a shootout near Dodge City, Kansas. Authorities say the shootout started when deputies tried to stop a vehicle driven by a wanted suspect, 39-year-old Leroy Malone of Phoenix, Arizona, Monday morning. He drove off and they chased him. Deputies from another county and highway patrol troopers joined the chase. The gunfire was exchanged when the suspect stopped his vehicle. He was shot and killed. A woman in his vehicle was also shot and is in critical condition. Of the 3 deputies hit by gunfire, 2 were in serious condition and a 3rd in good condition. Malone had been linked to a double homicide in Phoenix. Authorities in Wilson County, Kansas arrest a former Neodesha music teacher for child sex crimes. Authorities say last April, 28-year-old Quentin Bachhold tried to entice a child to perform sexual acts and was found in possession of child pornography. He is charged with 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a child and 1 count of electronic solicitation of a child. Bachhold was the band director for the Neodesha School District at the time, though he is no longer employed by the district. Authorities bring charges against a Pittsburgh man for a weekend home invasion. Gilbert Larson was arrested for aggravated robbery, battery, misdemeanor theft, and felony criminal damage for a robbery which took place Sunday night. According to the 62-year-old victim, Larson forced his way inside her residence, struck her several times in the head, took her wallet, and broke her phone before fleeing from the residence. Larson was found and arrested without incident. His bond is set for $75,000. For the complete list of charges against Larson, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A Lamar, Missouri man pleads guilty to charges of animal abuse. Dakota Browse was sentenced to 3 counts of animal abuse for a crime authorities say he committed back in 2019 concerning dead livestock or livestock in poor condition found in northeast Barton County east of Milford. Each count carries a 1-year sentence. However, his sentence was suspended. Browse has been placed on 2 years probation. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A heartwarming moment played out on the cold ice of a hockey tournament in Minnesota over the weekend. Sammy Salina has the story.
Finally, the ice is perfect for some hockey.
We've had a really fun time this season.
Amy and her team are happy to hit the ice at the U.S. Pond Hockey Championships.
My dad is the older one, and then this is my boyfriend.
Conditions are good, and so is the timing.
Proposing. Yeah.
Matt's plan is to pop the question to Amy after the game.
Here you go, Matt.
He's thankful that the ice is solid and the weather isn't too cold.
Had some challenges with that 16-inch snowfall.
Planners were worried about the heavy snow earlier this month, creating lots of insulation on Lake Nokomis.
This event used to be earlier in January, and then at one point we moved it to the end of January because we were going to have better success at having the ice that we would need to host the entire event.
But patience is key.
We're behind a little bit. Not to surprise you guys, but...
Amy and Matt's team, honestly, hasn't won a whole lot.
We're taking a lot of notes and we're learning for next year.
Actually, this season they haven't won at all, but maybe victory is in the air.
Something big's coming.
We got him.
They met on this ice.
We're on the same page about just about everything there is.
And that's what you need to win.
We up by 1 right now?
Yeah.
The snow, ice, the team have finally come together.
It's a win. It's a W.
to create a victory. They won for the first time.
Oh, me too.
And it was a perfect day
Yeah.
for another victory.
Of course.
Oh, I'm tearing up here. We'll be right back with another look at your forecast.
We got winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories out for the area. Right now, we're sitting at 30 degrees. We got a calm wind. We are about seasonable right now as we start the day. We're 27 Iola, 26 Parsons, 28 Chetopa, Miami, 30 Neosho, Monette, and 31 in Carthage. MoDOT camera at 32nd and range line looks pretty good so far, and it'll remain that way at least through the noon hour. We got a green light for your morning commute if you're going to work today, as we'll be mostly cloudy and cold, but we do switch to a red light by your evening drive as this winter weather system starts to move in. We start to see a wintry mix turn into snow. So far, again, no school cancellation. So getting on the bus today, 29 at 7 a.m. And when the kids get home, we start seeing that wintry mix. We're at 37 by 3 o'clock. Big snow really won't start accumulating until later this evening. Up to 41 by noon. And then we see the rain, wintry mix, then transition to snow. Some of that snow in the heavier areas really along and south of I-44 could be 6 to 10 inches. Down to 32 tonight. Heavy snow possible at times as well. Snow clears out early tomorrow morning up to 35. Decent days Thursday, Friday, and then another system coming in Saturday night. 53. Rain to a wintry mix by Sunday and 34. We're back after this.
Right now at 6, shots ring out in Dodge City, Kansas, as law enforcement exchange gunfire with a man after an attempted traffic stop.
We can see the roads for the time being on the MoDOT camera 32nd and range line, but snow on the way. We'll talk the winter storm coming up.
And tax season kicks off. KOAM's Carrie Worthen sits down with an area expert who tells us why your refund check may not measure up to last year's.
4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. We have a big winter storm knocking on our back door right now as it sets stage to move in today. So we have an alert day today into tomorrow. We are talking high impact of snow. We'll talk about those snow totals and a medium impact from the cold because believe it or not, even into tonight, we'll be a little bit above normal. So right now, you have time still through this morning and into the very early afternoon to put your final plans in place, especially if you're long and south of I-44 where the heaviest snow is expected. You might want to prepare to be stuck in there for a day or two, especially in some of the rural areas. So there it is on the Skywatch Storm Tracker just outside of our viewing area. And here's another look at it as it comes out of the desert southwest. You can see rain, a wintry mix, and some snow out there as well. Winter storm warnings, some of these just went into effect overnight. They run until 9 a.m. and as you can see, they're right along and south of I-44. Everybody else, winter weather advisories through at least 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. A very expansive system. Warnings and advisories from Ohio back through New Mexico today. We're looking at about noon, looking at some rain, maybe a light wintry mix because we'll actually be above freezing by noon. But then as the evening progresses, temperatures will begin to fall and this system turns into just straight up snow. And as we head into the overnight hours, some of us could see some potentially heavy snow at times. As we head into overnight and early tomorrow morning. And by late tomorrow morning, this system will exit. Here's a look at current thinking on snow totals. Parts of southeast Kansas, less than 4 inches. That light blue strip, 4 to 6. The blue strip, 6 to 8. That purple strip, 8 to 10 inches. And then we're talking 10 inches plus as you head into that pink strip down there as well. So everywhere from Joplin, Miami, Mount Vernon, Veneta, and points southeast could see some pretty hefty snow totals. We're at 30 right now in Joplin, doing all right. I'll have clouds, of course, increase as the day goes on. We are about seasonable for our start to our Tuesday. 26 Iola, 28 Chetopa, Miami, Veneta, 31 Neosho, 30 Anderson, Carthage, and 28 in Lamar. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, we can still see it. And to be honest, by the noon hour, while it may be a bit damp, we'll probably still see it. We have a green light for your morning commute if you're heading to work, as will be mostly cloudy and cold. And we have a red light, though, for that drive home. If you have the option to work remotely or perhaps leave early, take it, because by the time you start to drive home, this system will start to get its act together. We'll start to see accumulating snow really start to pile up as we head into the late evening. No cancellations yet. Kids getting on the bus at 7 a.m., 29, mostly cloudy. wintry mix by 3 o'clock and 37. Again, the significant impact from this isn't expected until later this evening, so that may be why a number of school districts have not yet called off, but I would anticipate that changing tomorrow. 41 by noon, rain transitions to wintry mix and then snow through the evening. 32 tonight with snow, again heavy at times. We're going to get a break from the action. By the way, we're up 35 tomorrow. Breaking the action Thursday, Friday. Saturday up to 53, and then evening showers turning into a wintry mix overnight and into Sunday morning, 34 down to 15 Sunday night and 35 by next Monday. So we have plenty of winter weather on the way, but right now, of course, our focus is this system as it is almost here. So make sure you're ready.
The hope is for this system to be done with by tomorrow morning, though, correct?
Right. We're looking at early tomorrow morning, maybe as late as, say, 9, 10 o'clock. It might still be letting up, but it should be out of here by 10, 11 tomorrow morning.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, a shootout in Dodge City injures 3 deputies and ends the life of the suspect. Authorities say it started when deputies tried to stop a vehicle driven by a wanted suspect, 39-year-old Leroy Malone of Phoenix, Arizona. This was Monday morning. He drove off and they chased him. Deputies from another county and highway patrol troopers joined the chase. Gunfire was exchanged when the suspect stopped his vehicle. He was shot and killed. A woman in his vehicle was also shot and is in critical condition. Of the 3 deputies hit by gunfire, 2 are in serious condition and a 3rd in good condition. Malone had been linked to a double homicide in Phoenix. Authorities bring charges against a Pittsburgh man for a weekend home invasion. Gilbert Larson was arrested for aggravated robbery, battery, misdemeanor theft, and felony criminal damage for a robbery which took place Sunday night. According to the 62-year-old victim, Larson forced his way inside her residence, struck her several times in the head, took her wallet, and broke her phone before fleeing from the residence. Larson was found and arrested without incidents. His bond is set for $75,000. For the complete list of charges against Larson, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. One Oklahoma school board hopes to treat part of its school building to a needed renovation. A 50-year-old school gymnasium was the subject of a South Coffeyville, Oklahoma school board public meeting on Monday. The board is seeking a $1 million bond to fund the construction of a new gymnasium. It would be paid for with a mill rate increase for taxpayers over a 10-year period. Superintendent says the current gym has problems.
It is a nice gym. The seating is limited. When we have basketball games, it's standing room only. We have to refurnish the floor at least once a year. We probably should do it twice a year because we have pre-K through 12th grade gym classes in here every day. So this thing is used all day long.
The school board has not yet determined the site of the proposed gym. Monday marked the first day to electronically file your taxes with the IRS. Pat Kelly is the owner of Joplin Tax Service. He says some people may be surprised with refunds this year. There was a law in place for the year 2020 that increased refunds through child tax credit, earned income tax credit, and stimulus. The law did not get renewed for the 2022 tax year.
So we have child tax credit, earned income tax credit are the most significantly affected credits, but also a lot of people got the stimulus money in their refunds last year because they hadn't received it during the year. And that was $1,400 per person, and that won't be on the tax refunds this year.
This year's filing deadline is April 18th. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the death toll rises to 11 in the mass shooting near Los Angeles over the weekend. But another mass shooting in California on Monday takes the lives of 7 more people. We'll take a closer look at 3 days of mass shootings in the Golden State. Plus, research finds moderate and vigorous physical activity in midlife can protect the brain from decline. And Chris has an extended look at your forecast, including more on these incoming winter storms. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, California is grappling with yet another mass shooting in just 3 days. 7 people were killed in the coastal city of Half Moon Bay, located 30 miles south of San Francisco. Now, a suspect has been arrested. It comes as another victim of Saturday's shooting at a dance studio near Los Angeles has died, bringing the death toll up to 11 people. 9 others were wounded in that incident. Nichelle Medina reports.
The quiet was shattered Monday in the Northern California coastal community of Half Moon Bay after police found 4 victims shot and killed and a 5th wounded at the Magic Mushroom Farm. 3 more victims who were killed were discovered at another business about a mile away.
This is a devastating tragedy for this community.
The suspected shooter, 67-year-old Chun-Li Zhao, was arrested roughly 2 hours later in a sheriff's substation parking lot. The sheriff's office says the weapon used in the attacks was found in his car.
Zhao is believed to have acted alone, and there is no further threat to this community.
Investigators are working to determine a motive. That incident in Half Moon Bay comes just a couple days after a mass shooting here in Monterey Park near Los Angeles. Outside of City Hall, mourners brought flowers and candles to honor the victims of Saturday's tragic shooting during a Lunar New Year celebration.
We will get through this. We are strong.
A vigil was held last night to remember the now 11 deceased victims, all over the age of 50. Among the dead are Star Dance Studio owner Ming Wei Ma and Fonda Kwan's 65-year-old aunt, Mei Mei Nan.
Shot her first and then proceed to go inside to shoot everyone else.
Police say an attempted second shooting at the Lai Lai Ballroom was prevented when the owner's son, Brandon Say, disarmed the shooter.
I'm feeling well, have some trouble sleeping.
Investigators say the Monterey Park suspect, 72-year-old Hu Can Tran, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound Sunday as a SWAT team closed in on his van. Nichelle Medina, CBS News, Monterey Park.
There was another mass shooting Monday evening in California at an Oakland gas station near Mills College. Police say 1 victim was killed and 7 more injured. So far, there is no word of a suspect. The U.S. has already had 39 mass shootings since the beginning of the new year. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we are continuing to monitor a winter storm as it makes its way into our area. Here we are, and here it is as it comes in out of the desert southwest. So we do have winter storm warnings in the pink along and south of I-44 where we can see some of the heavier snow. And we've got winter weather advisories for everybody else where we can see still some snow, but not as much as we'll see along the interstate. We'll break down the full winter forecast and let you know what this storm's going to do coming up. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We have an alert day for us as we have this incoming winter storm. And as we've been talking about, heavier snow expected along and south of I-44. So snow, of course, the biggest impact out of this system. And we will be a little bit cold, but believe it or not, we're going to still be slightly above normal even heading into tonight. You've got through say early afternoon to put your final plans into place as this system moves on into the area. And again, if you're along and south of I-44, that's where you really need to be prepared because this is where we're going to see the heaviest snow as this system rolls on in. And that's where, of course, we could run into problems, especially on rural roads out in this area as well. So here it is, just outside of our immediate viewing area. It's getting ready to roll on in. Coming up from the desert southwest, you can see this expansive area of rain, wintry mix, and snow across the Texas Panhandle, moving into central Oklahoma, and it will continue to roll our way as the day progresses. So we do have winter storm warnings now for all of these counties in pink, roughly along and south of I-44 through 9 a.m. Everybody else in this bluish purple color, it's a winter weather advisory through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Big system. Warnings and advisories from Ohio all the way through New Mexico with this thing. So let's go through today. Now today we're still going to be about seasonable for the high right around noon. So as it moves in, we could see some rain, transition to a wintry mix by about 3 o'clock, and then as we head into the evening, temperatures begin to fall and it turns into all snow. And as we head overnight, some of this snow, again, especially along and south of I-44, could be heavy at times. And this system start letting up early tomorrow morning and should be out of here by about 10, 11 o'clock. Up in the northwestern part of our viewing area in Kansas, we're looking at less than 4 inches. This light blue strip, which includes Pittsburgh, Lamar, Stockton, Nevada, Columbus, we're talking roughly 4 to 6 inches. Joplin, Carthage, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Neosho, Miami, Veneta, that's a 6 to 8 inch range. And then just southwest of that, Anderson, Pineville, Monette, Cassville, we're looking at 8 to 10 inches. And you go southeast of that, and we could see anywhere from 10 inches to a foot of snow. 30 in Joplin right now, so not too bad. We are seasonable as we start our morning. 26 Iola, 27 Chanute, 28 Chitopa, Miami, 31 Neosho, 30 Carthage, and 28 in Lamar. MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line looks pretty good so far, and it will probably be wet by noon, but it will still be visible by noon, but that'll change. So for your morning drive, it's a green light. We're mostly cloudy and cold as you start your day, but your evening trip home is a red light as this system really starts to pick up. And it'll be roughly 5, 6 o'clock that we start to actually see some of the snow making a travel impact, which is why I believe we don't have any school cancellations as of yet, because even though there will be a wintry mix come 3 o'clock, we're not going to be that bad in terms of road conditions by that time. At least we shouldn't be unless this system really just picks up its pace. So 29 at 7 a.m., 37 with a wintry mix by 3 o'clock as the kids get home. Again, a high of about 41 degrees. The rain transitions to wintry mix, then snow as we head into the late afternoon and evening hours. Snow overnight, hovering right around the freezing mark. Some of that snow could be heavy at times. And as we look ahead, our alert day, of course, continues into tomorrow. And then we get a break Thursday and Friday up to 53 by Saturday. Another system, though, evening showers down to 28, turns into a wintry mix by Sunday morning, down to 34 for the high, 15 Sunday night, and 35 by Monday. We got more of the KOAM Morning News coming up.
Topping Health Watch this morning, in the age of COVID-19, kids have been spending more time on computers and smartphones. A new study out of Japan indicates more screen time at age 2 is associated with poorer communication and daily living skills by the age of 4. The findings, published in JAMA Pediatrics, also show outdoor play can reduce some of the negative impacts by almost 20%. Moderate and vigorous physical activity in midlife can help boost brain power, and that's according to new research published in the Journal of Epidemiology and Community Health. Researchers found this exercise intensity level in older adults helps protect the brain from decline, whereas dropping it just 6 to 7 minutes daily and opting for light activity or sedentary behavior is associated with poor cognitive performance. And a new study finds regular physical activity can lessen the occurrence and severity of respiratory infections in children. Researchers in Poland tracked more than 100 children between the ages of 4 and 7 from 2018 to 2019. They found that kids with higher activity levels spent fewer days sick. A new warning from the World Health Organization about the danger of trans fats. The UN Health Agency says billions of people are still being exposed to the harmful toxins. Ian Lee reports.
Trans fats can be hidden in some of the tastiest treats, from pastries to pizza. The toxic additives are believed to be responsible for 500,000 deaths from coronary heart disease every year. And in a new report, the World Health Organization says enough is enough.
Think of artificial trans fat as the tobacco of nutrition. It has no valid use.
Denmark was the first country in the world to wipe out trans fats, and the FDA banned them in the U.S. in 2018. Countries across Europe, including the United Kingdom, set strict limits on the toxic fats.
There's been real progress, but still 5 billion people are living in countries that have not protected them from trans fat causing heart attack and death.
Some around the world worry getting rid of trans fats will force fast food favorites like burgers and fries off the menu. But the WHO says that's not the case.
It's possible to do the replacement and to have products which consumers will continue to buy, but that are healthier.
The WHO says Ecuador, Egypt, and Pakistan have high heart attack numbers and are still not taking action to protect their people.
Global elimination could prevent 17 million deaths over a 25-year period.
While more than 40 major countries have taken steps to eliminate trans fats, most of the world goes unchecked. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
The WHO says it still hopes to convince countries to take serious action to ban trans fats by the end of this year. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
All right, we are watching this winter storm as it begins to track on off toward our area, knocking on our back door. We've got winter storm warnings in the pink along and south of I-44 through tomorrow at 9 a.m. Winter weather advisories for everyone in the purple through about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. And of course, this is a very big system that we've got across the area. We're going to be seeing a rain as it initially moves into the area around the noon hour. And then as we head toward about 2, 3 o'clock and temperatures begin to drop, we'll see it turn into a wintry mix. And then it becomes all snow across the area. And some of that snow tonight could be heavy. We're looking at less than 4 inches for parts of southeast Kansas here. This light blue, so Pittsburgh, Lamar, Stockton, Nevada, Columbus, we're looking at 4 to 6. Joplin, Carthage, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Miami, we're looking at 6 to 8. And then we're looking Anderson, Pineville, Monette, Cassville, Grove. We're looking 8 to 10 inches of snow possible, so be prepared for this. We are at 30 in Joplin right now under fair skies. We're seasonable, a little cool. 24 Iola, 25 Parsons, 30 Miami, 31 Neosho and Carthage. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. We can see the road. We'll probably still see it by noon as we'll just be a little bit on the wet side. Green light for your morning drive as we're mostly cloudy and cold. And then a red light for your drive home as we see this storm system really get its act together. Snow should really start accumulating, say, between 5, 6 o'clock tonight. Kids off to school this morning, 29 and mostly cloudy. Wintry mix by 3 o'clock and 37. So that's the good news. We'll have this. Roads could be slick, but we're not looking at dangerous conditions by 3 o'clock unless this system really picks up some speed. 41 for the high by noon. Rain, then the wintry mix, then the snow. And then the snow possibly heavy at times tonight as we drop back down to 32 for our low. We get a break in the action on Thursday and Friday. Another system Saturday night turns into a wintry mix late Saturday into early Sunday down to 28 up to 34, 15 Sunday night and 35 Monday. Got more of the KOAM Morning News when we come back.
Right now at 6:30, shots ring out in Dodge City, Kansas as law enforcement exchange gunfire with a man after an attempted traffic stop.
We are calm and cold to start. We will be snowy and nasty to end. We'll break down the latest on this winter storm coming up.
And tax season kicks off. KOAM's Kerry Worthen sits down with an area expert who tells us why your refund check may not measure up to last year's.
4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we have this winter storm coming in. We've been talking about it for the last couple of days and it is here. So you have through this morning and into the early afternoon to put your final plans in place. And we keep emphasizing this, but honestly, if you're along and south of I-44, be prepared to be stuck at home possibly for a day or so as we're looking at some potentially heavy snow amounts. There it is, just starting to make its way into our area down to the southwest. And here's how expansive that system is. Take a look at all of that activity rolling right for us. We have winter storm warnings now along and south of I-44 through 9 a.m. tomorrow. Winter weather advisories through at least 6 a.m. tomorrow for everyone else. And this is a big system. Those are warnings and advisories from Ohio back through New Mexico with this thing. By noon, we're actually going to be mild enough that as it rolls in, we'll probably see some light rain with it. But by about 2, 3 o'clock, temperatures begin to drop. We get a wintry mix, and then after that, it turns into all snow. And some of this snow could be heavy at times overnight and into early tomorrow morning. So let's talk about possible totals. If you're in the gray, we're looking at less than 4 inches. If you are in that light blue, so that's Pittsburgh, Lamar, Stockton, Nevada, Columbus, we're looking at 4 to 6 inches. Joplin, Carthage, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Miami, Veneta, that's a 6 to 10 inch zone, and Neosho. Neosho's right on that edge though, so you may get a little bit more. So that's 6 to 8 there. That purple is 8 to 10. That's Monette, Cassville, Pineville, Grove, Jay, and then southeast of that, 10 inches to a foot possible. Now we're at 30 right now in Joplin. We're looking all right for the time being, but again, that's going to change. Across the area, a little bit chilly, but close to seasonable. 27 Chanute, 25 Parsons, 30 in Miami, and Lamar, 31, Carthage and Neosho. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, is visible for now. We'll still be at noon, but it'll be a little bit on the wet side. We got a green light for your morning drive to work as we're mostly cloudy and cold, but that switches to a red light by this evening as we'll start to see the snow activity picking up. We'll start to really see the impact, say, between 5 and 6 o'clock tonight. No cancellations as of yet, probably because the major road impacts won't happen until a little later, though they could be a bit slick. So kids going to school 29 at 7 a.m., mostly cloudy, looking at a wintry mix by 3 o'clock and 37. And through today, again, a high of about 41 degrees by noon. That's why we'll see the start of some light rain. Then it transitions to a wintry mix and snow through the afternoon and evening. Some heavy snow possible at times tonight, down to 32 for a low. Now, the good news is you get a bit of a break Thursday and Friday. And then we're up to 53 Saturday with some evening rain turning into a wintry mix as we drop down to 28. Only 34 Sunday, wintry mix in the morning, down to 15 Sunday night. And we're up to 35 by Monday. So winter says, hi, how you doing? In case you missed me, this is what I'm about. So this is what we're in for. But again, can't emphasize enough. If you don't have to travel tonight or tomorrow, absolutely do not. And again, while we don't have really any cancellations this morning, I guarantee you that list is going to be pretty full by tomorrow morning. So be prepared.
And events tonight and whatnot, just
yeah,
be safe
absolutely.
out there,
Events
sure.
this evening could be canceled as we head into the evening. So just keep an eye on things.
How about the temperatures? Are they going to be low enough to really worry about anything?
Not significantly. Again, as we go through tonight, we're only down to 32, so we're right about the freezing mark. But because of that, it changes the snow ratio, which is why snow totals have been slowly going up over the last, say, 24 hours or so.
There you go. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a shootout in Dodge City injures 3 deputies and ends the life of the suspect. Authorities say it started when deputies tried to stop a vehicle driven by a wanted suspect, 39-year-old Leroy Malone of Phoenix, Arizona, Monday morning. He drove off and they chased him. Deputies from another county and Highway Patrol troopers joined the chase. Gunfire was exchanged when the suspect stopped his vehicle. He was shot and killed. Now, a woman in his vehicle was also shot and is in critical condition. Of the 3 deputies hit by gunfire, 2 are in serious condition and a 3rd in good condition. Malone had been linked to a double homicide in Phoenix. FBI is investigating how cyber criminals stole nearly $700,000 from a Kansas U.S. Senator's campaign. Someone sent Kansas Republican Jerry Moran's campaign fraudulent invoices last fall, and the campaign's accounting firm wired $690,000 to pay them. That's according to a Federal Election Commission filing. A Moran campaign spokesperson says the incident was reported to law enforcement as soon as it was discovered. About $168,000 has been recovered. Well, Monday was the first day you can file taxes with the IRS, and a local expert has some advice. KOAM's Carrie Worthen looks at what you can expect this year.
We're expecting probably some unpleasant surprises for some people.
Pat Kelly is the owner of Joplin Tax Service. He's done taxes for over 50 years. He said last year tax credits and stimulus checks during the COVID pandemic allowed for some of the largest refunds he's seen.
So we have child tax credit, earned income tax credit are the most significantly affected credits, but also a lot of people got the stimulus money in their refunds last year because they hadn't received it during the year.
Kelly said the child tax credit and earned income tax credit will significantly affect refunds.
Yeah, our clients so far that have been somewhat surprised at how, and it's not just a little reduction. We're talking refunds are being reduced by thousands of dollars relative to what they were last year.
Rebecca Tasker is just one of many filing their taxes on the first day of tax season.
So I knew that not everybody was getting bigger refunds this year because of all the stimulus and stuff that they did during COVID. I just want to do my part as a citizen and a proper U.S. citizen to pay my taxes so I don't have to go to jail. Yeah.
Regardless, Kelly said to make sure you're prepared when you go to get your taxes done.
They want to be sure that they get all their W-2s. Some people change jobs 2 or 3 times and they may forget where they worked last January and come in and file before they get that W-2, and then their return has to be amended later.
In Joplin, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
The last day to file your taxes is April 18th this year. Well, some area kids have the chance to showcase their singing talents. Crowder College is holding open auditions for 4th and 5th grade students to be in the college's newly forming Crowder College Regional Children's Choir. The first meeting will be this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the Wright Conference Center. Rehearsals will be held weekly on Mondays at 6 p.m. with exceptions to school holidays.
I think 4th and 5th graders kind of are left out of a lot of opportunities. There's not a lot for them except for their regular music class, and in most places. There is in some places, but it's just an experience that I want them to get at a little earlier age.
The performance will be in late April on the Neosho campus. There is no cost to participate, and students who do participate will be provided music, a folder, and a t-shirt. Sounds like fun. It's time for nominations for the 4 states' finest, our 2023 Viewers' Choice Awards for KOAM News Now. All you have to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest and nominate your favorite businesses. You can submit a nominee for any of several categories, including health, fitness, shopping, restaurants, and more. You help choose the finest, and each week, one viewer will randomly be chosen to win $100. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, say goodbye to the M&M spokes candies as recent changes bring controversy and debate. We've got the details.
And we are watching this winter storm as it rolls into the area. We're going to have a complete look at your forecast when we come back.
In Consumer Watch this morning, today the entertainment ticketing industry is under scrutiny on Capitol Hill. A Senate panel will hear testimony from several witnesses, including the president and CFO of Live Nation, which merged with Ticketmaster back in 2010. The CEO of SeatGeek and Clyde Lawrence of the band Lawrence. Issues with the ticketing industry came to a head last November when a meltdown by Ticketmaster's website blocked Taylor Swift fans from buying concert tickets. Live Nations is blaming bots and online secondary marketplaces for the fiasco. That's according to its opening statement obtained by CBS. The tech industry has been hit with more layoffs this week. This time, media streaming service Spotify said it's cutting 6% of its workforce, which is roughly 600 jobs. Company's chief content officer, Don Ostroff, is also stepping down. Spotify's announcement follows similar moves from several other major tech companies, including Google, Meta, and Twitter. And M&M says it's putting an indefinite pause on its spoke candies. In a statement, the company said the characters were polarizing. Some right-wing media personalities have slammed recent changes to the characters. Instead, the company is replacing them with actress-comedian Maya Rudolph as the new spokesperson and chief of fun. Interesting. Well, it was a hot holiday gift, but could wearing a virtual reality headset be putting users at risk of serious injury? Christine Lazar spoke with one woman who has potentially permanent damage to her eye after an accident while playing a VR game.
Yes. It was supposed to be a fun Friday night at home for Emily Melquest and her son Jack. They decided to use their virtual reality headset and play a game where users walk a plank and experience free fall off an 80-story building.
Right away, I just felt my body tense, my heart started beating fast.
Though her mind knew she was in her living room.
My body thought I was there, and the fight or flight response was happening.
Melquest leaped right into her entertainment center.
The impact of the hitting my head on the furniture, that eyepiece went right into my orbital socket.
Leaving her with bruising, and she says persistent pain, even potentially permanent problems with her eyelid. On social media, there are videos of VR users injuring themselves. Recently, a UK insurance company reported a 31% jump in home insurance claims for VR-related injuries. Meta, which is the parent company of the Oculus VR headset, includes safety information in the packaging and online. Users are required to set up a virtual boundary, and they're encouraged to clear a safe space before using the headset. In a statement to us, a Meta spokesperson said, "We take the safety of people who use our Meta VR devices seriously."
Well, experts also recommend taking breaks every 30 minutes when you use a VR headset. And if the headset affects your balance or makes you feel funny, stop using it immediately. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
We are tracking a winter storm that is just starting to make its way close to us as we progress through the morning. We'll start to see it as rain as we head into the early afternoon. Then it'll transition to the snow, and it's going to be a good one. We've got winter storm warnings in the pink along and south of I-44 through at least 9 a.m. tomorrow. Everybody else, winter weather advisories through at least 6. So we're talking the possibility along and south of I-44 anywhere from 5 to 10 inches possible, with locally higher amounts possible as well. Everybody else, anywhere from 1 to 6 inches of snow on this. So do be careful. We'll break down the full winter storm when we come back. But first, you don't want to go outside. It's way too cold and we have the snow coming. So if you stay right here, we're going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries in just a few minutes. But before we do, tell you what, why don't we go see what's happening on CBS Mornings?
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, a powerful note to self from former gymnast Sarah Klein about pain and perseverance. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Paul Hill. Tech Sergeant Hill served in the Army from 1943 to 1946. He served in China, India, and in North Africa. A native of Eureka, Kansas, we thank you. Today's four-state hero, Paul Hill.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays, and we begin in Baxter Springs with Elias Zom celebrating birthday number 3. Happy birthday, Elias.
All right, Georgia Johnson turning 8 years old this year. There she is with a Christmas picture there in Deerfield, Missouri, with love from Grandpa and Grandma.
And we've got Landon Baxter celebrating number 11 in Carl Junction, with love from your mom, dad, and sister, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu student as well.
All right, and in Chanute, Carson Allen celebrating birthday number 11.
And over in Joplin, Briley Seacrest celebrating birthday number 14. Happy birthday, Briley.
All right, Michaela Richardson celebrating birthday number 26 in Jasper, Missouri, with love from Granny and Papa.
And we've got Denise Shoemaker in Humboldt celebrating birthday number 57. Happy birthday.
All right, and Ricky Harris turning 64 years old this year. Ricky is in Jasper, Missouri.
And last but not least, we wrap up with Sam Smith in Columbus celebrating birthday number 23. If you'd like to get your birthday or anniversary on the morning show, Tanya knows exactly what you need to do.
Yep, jot down one of these 2 emails, either birthdays, don't forget the S, at KOAMTV.com, or birthdays, again with the S, KOAMNewsNow.com. Make sure you send us your picture, their name, their hometown, and birth year and birth date for sure. Don't forget that as well.
Absolutely. And of course, if you're checking out our website, now you might be today and tomorrow for closings and the latest weather information, take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get some awesome deals from local businesses. You also get a cool birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. Just go to KOAMNewsNow.com, sign up for the Birthday Club today. Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News makes the switch over to Fox 14, we're going to take you to the set of Friends. Actually, we're going to take you to the set of Seinfeld. Hold on. Actually, we're going to take you to both sets under the roof of one B&B. We're going to meet an Ohio couple who make the experience of staying in your favorite sitcoms a reality. That's coming up on Fox 14 at 7. All right, so here's what we're watching. The Pink, along and south of I-44. Winter storm warnings through at least 9 a.m. tomorrow. Everybody else, winter weather advisories through at least 6 a.m. tomorrow. And you can see the system right to our southwest starting to make its way in here. These watches and warnings go from Ohio and Pennsylvania back through New Mexico. That's how big this system is. Now, as we go into the afternoon, this system starts to make its way here, say about noon. We're looking at it starting as rain across the areas. We'll still be above freezing. However, by about 2, 3 o'clock, we're going to start to see the transition to a wintry mix. And as we head into the evening and temperatures go down, it turns into an all-snow event and will remain that way through the rest of tonight into early tomorrow morning. And then roughly by about 10, 11 o'clock, the remnants of this system should be kicking their way on out of here. In the gray, we're looking at less than 4 inches of snow. The light blue, so Pittsburgh, Columbus, Lamar, Nevada, Stockton, we're talking 4 to 6 inches. Joplin, Carthage, Greenfield, Mount Vernon, Neosho, Miami, Veneta, anywhere from 6 to 8 inches possible. And then you get to Pineville, Anderson, Monette, Cassville, Grove, Jay, 8 to 10 inches possible. And if you go southeast of that, we're talking 10 to 12 inches possible across extreme southwest Missouri and parts of northwest Arkansas. We are at 30 degrees in Joplin right now, doing all right with a calm breeze, a seasonable and somewhat chilly start for some of us. 25 Iola and Parsons, 31 Chetopa, 32 Miami, 31 Neosho, and 30 in Carthage and Lamar. MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line, looking pretty good so far. It'll be wet by noon, but it'll still be visible by noon, so we do have a green light for your morning commute as we're mostly cloudy and cold. But if you can work remotely, take the day off, something like that, leave early, not a bad day to do it, because we got a red light for the evening commute as we'll start to see this system transition to the snow. And we'll start to see the snow really start to accumulate between about 5 and 6 o'clock this evening. Kids getting on the bus this morning, mostly cloudy, 29 degrees, a wintry mix by 3 o'clock, but roads could be slick, but they shouldn't be hazardous until a little bit after that, so they should be okay. 37 by 3. Heading for a high of 41, which is why we'll see the rain first. Then it transitions to the wintry mix and snow. Heavy snow possible at times, especially along and south of I-44, down to 32, and that's where we'll just hover. We get into tomorrow, 35. We get a break Thursday, Friday, up to 53 by Saturday. PM showers turn into a wintry mix down to 28. Wintry mix Sunday morning and up to 34. We're back with more right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities say a shootout started when deputies tried to stop a vehicle driven by a wanted suspect, 39-year-old Leroy Malone of Phoenix, Arizona, Monday morning. He drove off and they chased him. Deputies from another county, Clark County, and highway patrol troopers joined the chase. Gunfire was exchanged when the suspect stopped his vehicle. He was shot and killed. A woman in his vehicle was also shot and is in critical condition. Of the 3 deputies hit by gunfire, 2 are in serious condition and a 3rd in good condition. Malone had been linked to a double homicide in Phoenix. Wilson County, Kansas authorities arrest a former Neodesha music teacher for child sex crimes. Authorities say last April, Quentin Buckhold tried to entice a child to perform sexual acts and was found in possession of child pornography. He's charged with 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a child and 1 count of electronic solicitation of a child. Buckhold was the band director for the Neodesha School District at the time. Gilbert Larson is arrested for aggravated robbery, battery, misdemeanor theft, and felony criminal damage for a robbery which took place Sunday night in Pittsburgh. According to the 62-year-old victim, Larson forced his way inside her residence, struck her several times in the head, took her wallet, and broke her phone before fleeing from the residence. Larson was found and arrested without incident. His bond is set for $75,000. A Lamar, Missouri man pleads guilty to charges of animal abuse. Dakota Browse was sentenced to 3 counts of animal abuse for a crime authorities say he committed back in 2019 concerning dead livestock or livestock in poor condition found in northeast Barton County east of Milford. Each count carries a 1-year sentence. However, his sentence was suspended and Browse has been placed on 2 years probation. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We got winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories across the area through tomorrow morning. Now we're going to make it to 41 by noon, and the system as it rolls in will start as rain, transition to a wintry mix by 2, 3 o'clock, and then all snow after that as we head into the evening. This snow could be heavy at times as we head into the overnight hours, down to 32 for our low. And as we look at the week ahead, we're up to 35 tomorrow. Snow should be out of here by about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. We're looking at totals along and south of I-44 of 6 to 10 inches, and northeast of that anywhere from 1 to 6. And then after that, a break Thursday, Friday, up to 53 Saturday. Evening showers turn into another wintry mix, and that holds on until Sunday morning. So it's we're not done with winter, and it's here to stick around.
All right, well, coming up today at noon, we're making a crazy good rosemary chicken in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, and coming up, a special investigation into the future of a 3-year-old girl who was rescued after a raid in Afghanistan.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, the Iola Chamber of Commerce is heading into our KOAM studios to tell us about the city's mural project.
And we've got Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission showing us how to make a tofu power bowl. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m.
All right. And we'll do it again today at noon.